For over 100 years now, we have been entertained, mystified and scared witless by the magical world of cinema. Whether it's the Titanic sinking in your living room, or a little girl called Dorothy lost in a place called Oz, or 6 strippers from Sheffield, the universal language that cinema has become has truly united the world. As Mel Brooks once said, a true filmmaker is the person who spends all his night putting the little teeny weeny holes in the celluloid. But as we discover, the truth is a little bit more complicated than that. So join me as I take a peek behind the screen and meet the people who light it up.
Hide under the covers as we go behind the scenes of new chiller, The Others. We recreate Hollywood special effects in Bath. Someone's about to be evicted, but it's not Big Brother. Most people want to be an actor. This man was. Find out why he now wants to be a director. And we talk lovies with rising star Kate Stephenson-Payne.
Welcome to Inside Take. The process of filmmaking is generally considered to be one of those hidden arts, but it's an art that we're going to reveal to you here on this show because it's our mission to bring you the best, the brightest and the newest talent involved in filmmaking from all across the globe. Whether it's a Hollywood blockbuster, a hot new actor, a kickin' short film or a really cool animation, we've got it all right here. But coming up now, some filmmaking news.
If you're smart, you would have money on Kylie Minogue to beat the awesome talent Posh Spice in the race to #1. But you may also want to flutter on Kylie's move into shorts. No, we aren't talking sparkling hot pants, we're talking film. The pint-sized icon Temptress and Songstress has helped finance Subterrane, a British short film starring Jack Davenport of This Life fame, which is about ghosts travelling by tube. Subterrane's writer-director Rupert Wyatt promises real ghosts. Ooh, spooky.
Did you know there are 17 films with the word photo in their title? It's true. It's a pointless fact, but it is true. Anyway, moving swiftly along, Nicole Kidman has high-kicked her way from the Moulin Rouge in Paris to her latest offering, The Others, which is set in 1945. In it, she plays the mother of 2 children who suffer from high skin photosensitivity, which is unlucky for them, but it's lucky because they live in a very big, very dark, haunted house. But what I want to know is, why is Eric Sykes there? And is it true that you should never work with kids? I think we need to find out more.
Sometimes the world of the dead gets mixed up with the world of the living.
What's going on up there?
The Others is a haunting psychological thriller starring Nicole Kidman. Set on the island of Jersey at the end of the Second World War, the film is bound to draw comparisons with The Shining and Sixth Sense.
And the angel of the Lord called unto him.
Only 6 characters in the whole film, which is, I think it's 6 or 7, which is unusual. And all of them were complex. And the twists and turns in the story, when I read it, I didn't guess them. And that's unusual.
This was Spanish director Alejandro Alenbar's first film in English.
You have this character, which is a woman who lives in an isolated house. We've seen that in some horror films before, and sometimes it tends to be a cliche. And Nicole tried to play it in a very realistic way, so she does need all this background for the character to be inspired by it.
She's basically surviving by herself with these 2 children that can't go out in the sunlight, and she's put an ad in the paper because her previous servants have left. They quit. They just left in the middle of the night, and she doesn't know why. And so these 3 people come to the door offering their services. She's pretty desperate at that stage, and she's tightly wound, and she lets them into the house and gives them the job, and that's where the film begins.
Perhaps I should introduce you to the children.
It was my first time with children, and especially in English, so I was very, very scared at the beginning. It will be great, Alekina, if you just laugh, and then you decide to go to the puppet theater, okay?
To get us sort of worked up or scared or sad, he'd either play music or when we weren't expecting it, if he wanted us to jump suddenly, he'd get Javier, he's the assistant director, to get 2 big wooden blocks and bang them together, and we would sort of immediately go,
That's it, great, so you're playing. What we thought we would need for the girl was something who would be able to face someone like Nicole Kidman and wouldn't be scared of her.
"What's the matter?
Where is my daughter?
Are you mad? I am your daughter."
Alejandro has some Hollywood friends. His previous Spanish film, Open Your Eyes, has been translated by Cameron Crowe. He also has a fan closer to home.
Eric, you should be this side.
We met last August.
That's it.
This is
In the middle.
over a year ago. And the minute we met, I knew that we were on the same wavelength. And for a man, I think he was only about 26 then. I think he's 27 now. But I think he's probably forgotten more about directing than I've ever learned.
As well as a talented writer, Alejandro also scores his own soundtracks.
Part of the music is just there to scare the audience, and some other part to move their feelings. When you are playing with horror, you are playing with the unknown. That's what really, really scares us.
Can't you hear it? There's someone there.
Every now and again, a movie like The Matrix comes along, which changes the way filmmakers tackle special effects. Just like television cookery, really. Remember Delia Smith? She was hot in the kitchen, but then along comes Jamie Oliver and the lovely Jules, and everything's changed forever. Okay, I know it was a bad example, but we do want high technology in the films we watch these days. So what would you say if a man turned up to your film set carrying an oversized boomerang, 120 cameras, and a promise that he could freeze time? Chances are you'd call in the men with the long white coats. But before you do that, we know the man who can.
Welcome to the real world.
People in the film business are scratching their heads trying to come up with new ways to shoot material. We've all seen The Matrix, but how exactly did they do this? Here comes the scientific bit.
Bullet time is a stylistic way of showing that you're in a constructed reality, and that time and space are not the same as, here, us today living our lives. It's slowing down time to such an extent that you really see everything around you as clearly as you possibly could. Bullet time is something that was conceived for The Matrix.
Well, that's not entirely true. The very first man to freeze time was Tim McMillan from Time Slice Films in Bath.
I developed this time slice technique and the time slice camera when I was at college, and it was so ahead of its time that it really didn't relate to the world around it. It does now, but back then it was so off the wall, to be presented with this amazing paradox of being able to keep motion yet freeze time.
The effect is achieved by filming an image with lots of cameras set up in different places. At the editing stage, just one frame of each shot is used, which when put next to all the other frames gives the effect of the camera moving while the image remains frozen.
Each camera has a specific moment in time to fire a frame of film. All that is taking into account the net effect, the total effect of the move. That is a camera coming up to speed, moving at a speed, and coming off a speed.
It's over 20 years since Tim created time-slice cameras, and he's still experimenting with the technique.
The shoot today is dog meets postman, postman meets dog. And I picked this story up from the newspaper. As you do, he just flicked the dog off his leg. But the dog being a small dog, it landed badly on a flower pot or something like that, and it died, basically. What I wanted to do was to kind of recreate this scene. I spoke to the post office about it, and they said, well, hey, we've just got out of that, we don't want to get involved again, you know. So, you know, I hired an actor.
Okay, so it's not Keanu Reeves, but a million miles from Hollywood, Tim continues to use time-slice in his own films.
Do you want to just do a little bit of a rehearsal? Yeah. If you come walking down the path, you get to about here, dog comes yappity, 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 grabs you by the leg, and you're like, and action. Going up, and here comes the dog. Oh!
Waiting for someone or something to show you the way. Tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain.
Your outline's fine. Yeah, it's just I'm going to have a problem with this sort of light because it's very contrasty. So I'm not going to see your face that clearly anyway, even if I put the camera over there. No, I think I've got what I need here. Yeah, so we'll take the camera back to base.
Is Tim pleased that others are using time-slice? Or has Hollywood pocketing his idea left him feeling slightly winded?
On the one hand, I could say it's very galling to have developed this technique and then find it's gone out, and other people are using it to do things, kind of ripping off my ideas or developing their own ideas with it or whatever. On the other hand, I could say that's actually very good because it means people become used to it as a linguistic tool, within film or whatever, and that gives me much more power to actually create what I want to create.
Still to come on Inside Take, we go behind the scenes on Tom Waller's new short film, Eviction. From child actor to budding director, he's in London making films. Find out what he's up to. And it's a chilly chat with actress Kate Stevenson Payne.